Okay, does that help at all? Oh, and Lynn says Mercury retrograde. Not good. Okay, can anyone hear me? Colette gets a yep. Because when I test my microphone's working. All right, so if you can hear me, can you put a 1? Okay, and Fatha says you can hear me now. Good. Well, that's good. So now I think the only issue is my Facebook group is not here. But for those of you who don't know me, when there are technical difficulties, usually that means you guys benefit and I do another live. So, all right. So let me just, so I've got someone who is on Facebook right now. So I know that's a little rude, but let me just see if she can post something. And I was actually looking at doing more lives. Thank you, Lynn, for posting a 1 and a bunch of people doing yes. So, but I know there's a few people that don't enjoy YouTube. And part of it is you have to have a current subscribed account to use the chat. So, all right. So I'm just typing that I'm going to offer another live. That's just so weird. So this happened, gosh, beginning of February. And so and my glasses are on crooked. But anyways, so this just seems to be sort of a regular thing, but seeing some new names and some people that I know. So like there's Angel Knight and Miriam and Beth and Colette. But like Lily, I think is new. Oh, there's Rose Petal. Tug of Light. So welcome everyone. Today is show number 188. And I've actually picked out a couple other dates because I want to do a couple other lives, but I haven't quite decided if I'm going to do the same format or if I'm going to do some different things. So yes. But if you're new, how this works is 3 times in the next hour or so, we will be doing a healing pulse, which is a form of energy work that I created. The cool thing about it is it goes to where you direct it to go. It helps, I think, most people, although it goes on the issue at hand. It does not go to the root cause unless there's extra energy. And so if you've got an issue that you haven't healed the root cause, it's probably going to be more of a short-term fix, but in some instances, that's really what you need. So we're going to start the healing pulse now. So I want you to think about where do you want to receive healing? Do you have some physical pain or discomfort? Do you have anything going on emotionally? And if you've got something emotionally, think about where you're feeling that. Where does that emotion live? Or if you've got anxiety, where do you feel when you're anxious? Because that's where you're going to want to send the energy to. And then I want you to rub your hands together and place your hands exactly where you want to receive the energy. So be open and allowing. because you're getting my healing frequencies plus your own healing frequencies. Thank you, Valerie, for doing that on Facebook for me. And just breathe that in. And so when you breathe that in, imagine when you exhale that you're releasing energy, you're releasing blockages, you're releasing something that you need to let go. So just imagine each breath in, the healing goes a little deeper, and just allow. So if you are a person that likes doing breath work, this is the perfect time to do breath work. I usually recommend the box breath, but I think any type of breath work would be good. Okay, so that is our first healing pulse. It's pretty quick. If we were doing a healing pulse together in a session, this would be a time where I tell you to evaluate, and I would ask you, is it the same? Did it lessen? Did it move? Because oftentimes things will move, especially when you're dealing with pain and discomfort. And then typically we'll do another one. So in about 10, 20 minutes or so, we will do another one. And so I've got my book out. As I said, show 188. I keep everything. So I started this May 7th of 2020. That was show number 1. And then my Facebook account was stolen. And so after that was February of March of 2021. And then I went to YouTube and Facebook after that. So I'm going to go back and look and see, because I keep track of who wants what people want to work on. So Tug of Light has posted about the fire horse, which is wonderful. Thank you, Tug, for posting that. Fabulous. I teach Reiki, and so I have a private Reiki share group that we did a little bit of work on the fire horse and the eclipse, all sorts of fun stuff. So very good energies. So all right, so I'm just going through and seeing if anyone posted what they want to work on. I know Colette talked about being tired, and I think a lot of that is ascension symptoms. And Colette says, sure could use shots of revitalizing energies. And so with that, use that healing pulse for that, Colette. All right, so I'm just going through and just seeing. People from all over. Georgia and Canada and Texas and Florida. Lynn says she's exhausted too. Okay. Getting closer to current. Okay, Angel Knight, I think you're the first one that I've got for my list. Angel Knight lower back plus inflammation. So if you're new and you're comfortable, put in the comments what you want to work on, and I will look for the underlying reason. Typically, I'm looking for trapped emotions, emotional trauma. Oh, where's my book? So a lot of the work I do is based on this, the emotion code, and I am certified in this. Although with most things, I learn absolutely whatever I can, and then I tweak it to make it my own and be better for me. All right. But that's how I work with things, even with Reiki. I was trained twice because I've got the original Usui Reiki, and then I've got the total brain blank, the newest Reiki, the Holy Fire Reiki, and so when I teach it the way I learned it through the book. But I also tell people that I want you to learn what's best for you, and so I also teach ways I tweak things. All right, so tug of light. So you've got super tight neck. Oh, can't turn. Okay. All right, Jeffrey. Got a cough. Janice, teeth and gums. Silver fillings. Well, at least they're silver. And a root canal. We're going to focus on the teeth and gums, though. And there's Donna. Welcome, Donna. Oh, and Angel Knight's dad, heart issues. Angel Knight, what's your dad's name again? I think I wrote it down last time. I know we've worked on your dad before, though. I just... All right. Lily's got a bunion, right foot. And if you haven't been here a while, I've sort of changed things a little bit. Where when we release a trapped emotion, we also fill you up with a positive emotion. Okay, so Mfatha. Welcome new with clarity and confidence. Nice. And then Nick. Welcoming new into his life. Life and all aspects new. So for those of you who are here because of Honey, welcome especially. I just watched Honey's, she posted a 2026 video. It's only 10 minutes, which is nice because in my short attention span, but it was really good. For those of you who have not watched Honey, there are probably some things in it that will disturb you, but for people like me that have been watching and listening to Honey for a long time, she pretty much has stuck to the same things for a while now. So, but I think for newbies, it might freak you out a bit. Okay, so Miriam. And once I get through the list, then we'll start, okay? But I'll also tell you who I've got on the list. So, because I definitely have missed people in the past, and it's never on purpose. Lower digestive system and intestine sensitivity. Okay. Lynn, left ankle, sore spot. Okay, Valerie wants to work on her head overall. Head overall. Sinus. Allergies. Good grief, I can't spell tonight. Ear function. Okay, rose petals. Lower abdomen. Bladder, bowels. Rose petals. We'll see if those are all related to one thing or if we need to focus on one thing. Lisa, that is not good. So Lisa from Canada. Hope everything's good up there, eh? I am like 5 hours from Canada, not very far. Pretty close to the border. Okay, so respiratory for Lisa. Donna's in Colorado. Lynn. Do I have 2 Lyns tonight? Let me see. 9018. No. But you wrote down 2 things, so we'll see what comes up, Lynn. Did somebody else had a root canal that I wrote down too? Isn't that terrible? I write something down and then I can't remember it. Who I wrote down? Oh, Janice had teeth and gums. Yeah, so there are 2 of you with teeth issues. So, I think I'm almost done. Okay, Donna. Knee replacement. Right knee. I know that's going to go really good for you, Donna. Okay. All right, so Russ, which is Rose Petal's hubby. Charlie horses. Thank you, Rose and Charlie. Rose and Charlie. Rose and Russ. Angel Knight. Paul, thank you. We're going to work on his heart. Janice. Janice had teeth and gums. Now you've got lower back pain, right side. Guys, focus on one entry though, because otherwise it just adds more time. We're back right side, but I will write it down. Yes, Honey's content is fabulous. Yeah, I had a session with her right before she quit doing private sessions. It was amazing. Okay, so Lisa. All right, so Lisa, receded gum area. All right, so do I have more than one Lisa? Lisa, did I have you for respiratory too? Let me just go back. So I tend not to write down your whole. Okay, so same Lisa. Every once in a while I get someone with the same name, so I don't want to just skip you guys. Okay, I think I'm almost done. All right, so 77X. Yes, we can look at solar plexus, chest, throat. So also when we do a healing pulse, 77, you'll want to direct the energy towards that. That's okay, Janice. I just get a little confused. So, Honey typically doesn't go too much into astrology, but she does have someone that she comes on and they have more of a focus on astrology because she's on YouTube. I can't remember her name that comes on with Honey that talks about astrology stuff. Her name is Honey C. Colden on YouTube. Okay, I think I've got everybody. So here's my list. If you wrote something down and I missed you, Kelly, that's it. So if you're into astrology, Kelly Hunter, that would be a show to watch with Honey, because Honey sort of like for me, she dumbs things down a bit because I know astrology basics, but I don't have the interest in like the really complicated, like the trines and all the other different kind of things. Okay, so here's on my list: Angel Knight, Tug of Light, Jeffrey, Janice, Angel Knight's dad Paul, Lily, Emphatha, Nick, Miriam, Lynn, Valerie, Rose Petals, Lisa, Donna, Russ, and 77X. So if I did not say your name and you want me to work on something for you, please put it in chat. That would be appreciated. And so we're going to start with Angel Knight. Get set up so I don't have to hang on to everything. So how I've changed things, if you haven't been on in a while, is we still release trapped emotions, but I also find a positive emotion to add in and fill in the voids. It makes it a little bit more fun. And it used to be the favorite healing night was when I focused on positive emotions, but it really took a lot of time because I would actually do 3. So let's see. So Angel Knight wants to work on lower back and inflammation. Do I need to separate those and focus on one? No. So we're going to keep that the same. All right. So let's see. So with the negative emotions, like the emotion code book has like 60, but I have a list that has like 400. And so pretty comprehensive. Some of the words I've really never used in speaking or in writing, but it's on my list. So every once in a while I'll get something that comes up and I'm like, I think I know what that means, but sometimes I'll have to look things up because I want you to be absolutely sure. So let's see what's going to come up for Angel Knight. So we're looking for root cause, and especially if you're older, say like Either if you've had a lot of trauma or you're older and haven't really dealt with things on a deep emotional level, generally the older you get, the harder things are. So it's just how things go, right? And it makes getting older really awful. So it's good you're here, because let's take a stab at releasing at least one of the things that's contributing to whatever's going on for you. All right, so Angel Night. So I've got a trapped emotion. I just need to get an age. Getting around age 28. Ages are the hardest thing, so it's usually plus or minus a year. All right, so Angel Night, I've got unsettled around age 28. So it's going to be 27, 28, 29, something in there, unsettled. And typically it's an event, or if it's a longer period of time where that's the energy that was around it. So what we're going to do, and I always encourage you, if you have healing in your background, to help me release. I can release them by myself, but through years of doing this, I've realized that sometimes there's some residual stickiness that stays. And if we keep doing things long enough, that stickiness sort of adds up to a whole nother thing. But if you help, it takes it off on a deeper level. And if you don't have healing in your background, if you pray or meditate or have a wish, that basically works the same. So Angel Night's going to work on releasing unsettling, being unsettled, and so am I. And then the positive thing that Angel Night is we're going to instill within is being invited. And so sometimes I try and link the release of a trapped emotion to the adding of a positive emotion. And so with unsettled and unstable and just things are a bit at odds, I think of being invited and welcomed, and it's more of a happy, welcoming kind of energy versus the unsettled. And so I really like the release of the negative and pulling in that positive. So we're going to just instill that. And so the next three people are Tug of Light, Jeffrey, and Janice. So Tug of Light, super tight neck. So very interesting Tug of Light, because my right neck area, I woke up one morning and I had a really hard time moving my neck. So I think there's something going on in the universe too about that. So let's just see what comes up for you. Because I do get that there is a trapped emotion that is playing a role in that. So I'm getting the energy of punished. Let me get an age for you, Tug. Like 22. So 21, 22, 23 in there, punished. And so keep in mind, maybe you were punished by someone else, but maybe you punished yourself. Were you extra hard on yourself, Tug? So we're going to release punished, but then we're going to add in the energy of being valuable. So let's go ahead and reach in and pull the energy of punished. And then we're going to instill that feeling of value in being valuable, because that's who and what you are. Tug. So Jeffrey is next. And then I think we're going to do our second healing pulse after Jeffrey. So Jeffrey's got a cough. Let's see. I do get there is some emotional energy that's contributing to that. And Jeffrey, I'm getting this is from when you were just a little guy. You were like 8. So 7, 8, 9, something there. And it's the energy of being uneasy. Let me find the positive before we release. So then we can do them together. All right, so we're going to release the energy of uneasy. And we're going to instill being flexible. So when I think of uneasy, I think of something that's sort of rigid and stiff and awkward. And we're going to release that, but we're going to also instill within you flexibility. And think about it as flexibility in your body, but also in your mind and your spirit, and being open and flexible. And also, that means thinking of things maybe in new and different ways. And that's okay to explore. So we're going to do our next healing pulse. But when we come back, we've got Janice, Paul, Angel Knight's dad, and Lily. Okay, so let's do our second healing pulse. So if you were here for the first one, basically you want to assess where you're going to put your hands. Sometimes you'll adjust your hands to a slightly different place. Sometimes it'll be the same place. Other times you'll want to do someplace totally a different place. If you have just come in, so I want you to think about where you want to receive the energy. Oftentimes it's a place where you've got pain or discomfort, or if you feel somewhat emotional about a certain topic, or if you've got anxiety, where does that live in your body? That's where you're going to want to send the energy to. So I want you to rub your hands together. And RS, glad you could make it. So send this healing pulse energy to wherever you feel this negativity in your body. All right, so I'm sending now. And so just be open and allowing. Just breathe in that energy. With each breath in, it's going to go a little deeper, a little further. With each breath out, you are releasing. And with this, what you feel sort of will run the gamut. So some people will not really experience anything. For me, that's sort of oftentimes what I used to feel. The more I work with energy, the more I feel it. But especially when I started, I didn't really feel anything. Even when I was giving the healing, I often didn't feel. But then there's some people that when we do the healing pulse or other types of energy work, some feel hot, cold, tingles. Every once in a while, I get someone who's really releasing something deep and dark, and sometimes they'll actually get pain as it lets go. And then I've got a couple people that when something releases, the memory pops into their awareness and they will tell me who was there, what was going on, and all the nitty-gritty details of when this emotion got trapped. And that I find totally fascinating. So with that, just be open, because as you're experiencing the healing pulse, be aware of what pops into your thoughts, because oftentimes there's a reason for that. So that is our healing pulse number 2. And if we were doing this together, I would ask you, did whatever we were working on, is it the same? Did it move? Did it lessen? So let me know how you did for that healing pulse. So RS, I'm going to put you on the list. Releasing negativity. And Fatha says, I felt the energy hit me. Wow. Very cool. Thank you for sharing that. All right, so Janice. Janice has got a few things, teeth and gums, and also lower back right side. So we're going to see what we should focus on. So we're going to focus on your lower back, Janice. So let's see what's going on with that. Okay, so let me just get an age for that, and then we'll get the positive emotion too. Okay. So I've got the energy of mixed up. And this is around age 19. So somewhere 18, 19, 20. So it's not for that age. I think that's fairly common. And you probably know what was going on with you, Janice, at that point. But this goes back to that lower back area. So we're going to release mixed up. And then we're going to actually instill respectful. So with this, I sort of wonder if mixed up, did that have something to do with not respecting others or not respecting yourself? And so once you release that mixed up, does the respectful fill the voids with that? So let's release mixed up. And then we're going to instill respectful. You'll have to let me know if there's a story behind there. You don't have to give a lot of details, but. So Valor says, so when the energy flows, some people are super sensitive. So like when you yawn, that often means you are releasing energy to be able to make room for the new energy. So that's what Valerie, when Valerie yawns, it's her body accepting the new energy. So thank you for sharing that, Valerie. Miriam, she shared the energy with her dog. So fabulous. Animals love the healing pulse and other energy. So, oh, and then Lisa, goosebumps and tingles and no tummy pain. That is fabulous. Thank you for that feedback, everyone. All right, so Angel Knight's dad, Paul, has got some heart things going on. So let's see what that has to do with it. Let me just get an age. All right, so with Paul, I'm getting the energy of reproved around age 19. So I'm going to look up reprove because I think I know what it means, but what does that mean? Meaning of reprove. To scold, usually gently or with kindly intent. Okay, that's a little nicer than what I had thought. So Paul, this was from around age 19. So somewhere 18, 19, 20, somewhere in there. So I'm thinking someone sort of gently scolded you, but it really sort of affected you. And so we're going to release that energy and we're going to place it with this serenity that it's okay. And you don't need to hang on to that. So we're going to hone in and release reproved. And we're going to bring in some serenity about that. Okay, so next we've got Lily and Vatha and Nick. So Lily's got a bunion on her right foot. You know, I'm going to look up because I'm just curious. Let's see. Every once in a while I bring this one out. So let's just see bunion. So this has spiritual reasons for things. And normally and then it connects it to emotions. All right, so Lily, you'll probably have to go back and replay this. So usually if people have at least half of these, I say work on them. So following the wrong direction in life, making decisions that have limited your growth and expansion, fear of change, lack of belief in your ability to create and become successful. And so if any of those feel like things that have been part of your life, Lily, I would focus on them. If you're a meditator, meditate on them and imagine them being released and resolved. But in the meantime, let's see, because I do get there's a trapped emotion that's contributing to the bunions. And I've got the trapped emotion. Let me just get the age, and then I'll get the positive one too. Okay. So for Lily, I'm getting mournful around age 26. So 25, 26, 27, sometime in there, mournful. And so with this, it could be a loss of a person, or it could be more of a loss of something important to you. You know, sometimes it's loss of friendships, job, a way of life, a place that you lived that you had to move. You know, so expand your scope when you think about what was it that you're mournful about. And so releasing that, we're going to instill something sensational to your life. And so I really like that. Sorry. My glasses are driving me crazy tonight. And then they don't go on straight. So I'm like, oh. All right. So, Lily, we're going to release mournful and we're going to instill sensational within you. So, releasing mournful and instilling sensational. Okay, so that released. And sensational is instilled. All right, and Fatha wants to welcome in new energies for this year with clarity and confidence. So let's see. So we're going to see if there is a negative trapped emotion that's holding things from 2025 and prior. I do get a yes for that. So let me just get an age. All right. So I've got another word, derided. So with that, I don't know if I've ever really used that. I think it's come up once before on the show. So let's see. So meaning of deride is to laugh or insult contemptuously. So not very nice. So insulting someone or something, make them appear ridiculous or unworthy of respect. Involves expressing lack of approval or respect through mockery or ridicule. Well, that's pretty horrible. Let's get rid of that emphasis. So we're going to get rid of derided. And so when we get rid of that, we're going to instill friendly, because I think having this as a trapped emotion has sort of caused you to close a piece of you off and not be as open to new people and experiences. So that's why we're going to instill friendly. So let's hone in and focus on releasing derided. And then we're going to instill friendly with empatha. Oh, and Tug of Light just wrote about, so, because Tug of Light, you got punished at 22, and Tug of Light says 22 is when I wasn't seen or valued by ones I wanted to see and value me, felt punished by the universe. Knowing helps clear those triggers sooner. Yes, most definitely. Thank you for sharing that, Tug. All right, so Nick is next. Nick also is going through some changes and wants to welcome these new things into his life. So let's see what comes up for Nick. Let me just get an age, and then I'll pull the get the positive. Okay, so with Nick, this is from when you were pretty young, Nick. You were 7, or in that range, so 6, 7, 8, where you were very inhibited. Meaning you're pretty closed off. You kept everything to yourself. And I think the reason for that was outside of you. But it's really affected you as you're growing up and now as an adult. So what we're going to do is we're going to release that. And we're going to instill this dependableness that you can trust and be open. So we're going to release inhibited, and we're going to still within you being able to depend on things within and outside of you so that you can trust and be open. Okay, next, the next three up are Miriam, Lynn, and Valerie. So Miriam's got some lower digestive system issues and intestine sensitivity. So let's see what comes up. All right, so here's from Miriam. So I'm getting the energy of smug around age 12. So you were just little, so 11, 12, 13. But with this, I'm not getting this was really yours, but it was someone pretty close to you that affected you. So let's, especially since this isn't yours, let's get rid of this because it's sort of an icky feeling. And then we're going to instill within you this smoothness of energy and life where there's not so many bumps, but things just go smoother and they're easier. And I really like that for you. So let's release the energy of smug. And then we're going to bring in that energy of just being smooth and easy. Nice. So that was from Miriam. Oh, and then Mfatha noted this for Nick, because Nick had inhibited around age 7. That was when his grandpa died. Yeah, especially that age. I mean, death is hard for little kids, especially when they're so young. They don't really understand. And then Janice, she had mixed up around age 19. And she had dealing with her dad around age 20. So that really fits too. Thank you guys for sharing. Much appreciated. All right, so Lynn. So we're going to do Lynn, and then we'll do our third healing pulse. And then I still have, let's see, 3, 6, 8 people. And so we'll do the third healing pulse. We'll do the 8 people. And then we always end with aura strengthening. So we'll do Lynn, and then we'll come back after the healing pulse. So Lynn's got left ankle. She's got a sore spot, but she's also got some teeth issues. So let's see. We're going to focus on one. So let's see which one. So we're going to focus on the left ankle. So let me just get an age because I've got my emotion. Okay, so with Lynn, we've got the energy of the trapped emotion of doubtful around age 18. And so somewhere 17, 18, 19. So that is a time where being doubtful is pretty typical, I think, especially if you're not really sure what you're supposed to do with the rest of your life. And so you're not really sure about your choices. And so we need to release that. But then once we release that, we want to instill within you how valuable you are. And so we're going to release and remove doubtful. And then we're going to instill valuable. I like that. All right, so when we come back, we're going to work with Valerie, Rose Petals, and Lisa. So let's do our third healing pulse. So think about where you want to receive the energy. If you've had pretty good luck with the first two healing pulses, I would suggest doing a third one there. Or if you want to try something totally new, try send it to your heart or your third eye. All right, so rub your hands together and place your hands exactly where you want to receive the energy. Just breathe that energy in. Allow the healing to go a little deeper with each breath. Just allow. Okay, so that was our third healing pulse. Let me know how you did. Angel Knight wants to know when we're going to have another show, because I did mention in the beginning that I was thinking of adding a couple more dates just for this month. So I'm trying to decide if I need to do them at different times. So here's the two dates that I've chosen. So I've got March 12th, so next Thursday. And then I've got March 23rd, which is a Monday. So currently I've been doing them at 7 Central. But sometimes I wonder if I should do like a morning one for people that are early birds or in other time zones like in the UK. But I think at least for the one on the 12th, I will be doing 7 p.m. Central Time. So the same time as this one. And the 23rd, I'm going to have to think about it. If you have any suggestions or want to give me some feedback on that or anything else, like I'm considering one of the shows would be where I focus on this book, the Healing Questions kind. So it's sort of similar to this, only quite a bit different in questions. So, for instance, so I did the one about, let me just see. So I did tell you what was in it for bunions, but this one has, I'm curious if, so this one has quite a few different feet things. And like for bunions, it's got like 10 different things, which is sort of cool. Like number one for bunions, what do I need to make my life more exciting? Wouldn't that be, that's sort of interesting. So I've thought about just sort of adding this because it's very interesting. This is probably gives more information about the energies. This is probably more comprehensive as far as the healing pieces go when I focus on certain body parts. And then Marie Claire came in. So welcome, Marie. Glad you came in. I'm still doing individual healing. So if you want me to work on you, if you want to put something in the comments. And then Valerie had posted about the third healing pulse. So more yawns, ear popping, plus she got hearing aid feedback. So very electric, Valerie. All right. So, and speaking of Valerie, we're going to work on you because Valerie we're going to work on her head overall. She's got sinus issues, allergies, ear infection stuff going on. So let's see, because I do get there's still more energetic trapped emotions that are playing a role in that. So I've got my trapped emotion. I just need an age and then the positive. So Marie Claire, I'm going to add you. Fatigue, 2 to 3 years. Okay, Valerie, we're going to release restricted around age 26. So 25, 26, 27, somewhere in there. We're going to release that. And then we're going to instill any voids we created with fulfilled. All right, so releasing and removing restricted. Fill it with the energy of fulfilled. Wonderful. Oh, and Miriam posted that she had a really nice session with me. So I do have 2 types of sessions. I have a regular session that we can do in person in northern Minnesota in my tiny office, or most people do Zoom because most people are not in the snow belt here. So we've got that type of appointment. And then we also have an email appointment, which is about half the price, but also about half the time. And pretty much everything's done through email where I record your session and I send you a link and a summary of what we worked on. And then basically you read through and let me know if you have questions. So, and I also do free consultations, which is on my website. So, or if you just want to book a session, that's also on my website under Book Now. So thank you, Miriam, for posting that. All right, so rose petals. Got issues, lower abdomen, bladder, bowels. So let's see, do we need to separate anything out? No, so we're just going to see what comes up. Okay, so I've got my trapped emotion. Let me get an age for rose petals. Thinking Angel Night, we're not going to do good luck, bad luck, but let's do that next time, okay? All right, rose petals, I just need your positive. All right, so very interesting. So rose petals, I've got the negative emotion of unprotected around age 26, so 25, 26, 27. But then for positive, I've got judicious, which is interesting because when I think of unprotected in, well, in judicious, I think of more like a crime or justice. So with unprotected, so we're going to release what made you vulnerable because you were unprotected. But with judicious, so that means having good judgment and making wise decisions. So I'm wondering if I sort of blink those two together, I'm wondering if being unprotected made you not always make wise choices. Because sometimes, when you're not protected, you're fearful and you're making choices that are more fast and gut instincts. That doesn't always mean wise choices. And so we're going to take away the unprotected energy, but we're going to instill within you judicious energies, which means more wise, thoughtful choices. Very interesting how those two have come up. You'll have to let me know if those were linked, if that rings a bell to you, rose petals. All right, Lisa. It's got some respiratory issues, but also some gum issues too. So let's see what we're focusing on. We're going to focus on the respiratory. Let's see what comes up for Lisa. So I've got Lisa, Donna, Russ, 77X, RS Fitness, and Marie Claire. Let me just get an age. Okay, Lisa, I have the trapped emotion of joyless around 16. So 15, 16, 17. And that makes me sad because, especially when we're young, I would hope that everyone has joy. So we're going to take out that joyless, empty feeling, and we're going to give you a sense of security and safety, which I think leaves you open to being joyful. So let's release joyless, and then we're going to add secure. Okay, Donna is next. And Donna's having a knee replacement, so her right knee. So we're going to see if we can knock down her pain and discomfort a little bit before her surgery. I've got my negative. Let me just find the positive. All right, Donna. This is sort of an odd one because it's from you when you were like 5. So 4, 5, 6, just a wee one. And it's the energy of washed up. So at 5, I really don't think this was you, but it was someone close to you. So most likely, family, because I don't think you had a friend who was 5 who was washed up either. So I'm going to mainly focus on family. And we're going to get rid of that energy from you because that definitely doesn't help you. And then this is my favorite word most weeks. It's invincible. So we're going to have you replace the energy of washed up with invincible. I love invincible. So let's release washed up. And we're going to replace it with invincible. Like that. Oh, and rose petals wrote. Because with rose petals, she had unprotected around age 26 as a trapped emotion, and then judicious as the positive. So mother-in-law and older sister, 10 to 16 years older, issues, had to disconnect around the 30s, around her 30s. Wow. Interesting. Thank you for sharing that, Rose Petals. All right, so Russ is next. Russ has issues with Charlie horses. So isn't that like some type of deficiency? And I don't recall if that's magnesium or what that is, but that is what comes to mind. But I do get there's also a trapped emotion that's playing a role too. So let's find what that is. Okay, so I've got my trapped emotion. I just need the age, and then we'll get the positive. Okay, this is interesting. Because I've commented about how sometimes it seems like the things that's released is connected to the things that we instill, that positive. So with Russ, I get the energy of being restrained or held back around 12, so like 11, 12, 13. Or, like stopped. So there was something that held you back or stopped you. So we're going to release that energy from when you were 12, but then we're going to place it with the energy of being free. I like that. I'm really shocked that free came up. That's cool. All right. So Russ and Rose Petals. Is this Rose Petals? Was it your husband or was your dad? I just wrote down Rose Petals. So let's release restrained for Russ. And then we're going to instill the energy of free husband. Okay. I had it right the first time. Thank you for that. Very interesting. Okay, so my last three tonight are going to be 77X, RS Fitness, and then Marie Claire. So 77X has issues solar plexus area, chest area, throat. So let's see if we need to separate them. We're going to keep them all grouped together, but there is a trapped emotion that's affecting all of them. So let's see what that is. Let me just get an age. All right, 77X. So I've got the trapped emotion of being remote around age 16. So 15, 16, 17. And so when I think of remote, I think of you being really separate and alone. And it's really limited you. So let's take that away so that doesn't feel so normal and will cause you to reach out. And I really like your positive word. Your positive word is courageous. So we're going to release and remove remote. And then we're going to instill courageous, because being opposite of remote is going to cause an adjustment that you need to be courageous for. I really like that. Take away that remote. Wonderful. So Rose Petal just wrote about Russ, because Russ has Charlie horses, and I got restrained around 12. And that was when his mother held him back from his father. Oh, Russ, I'm sorry. But I'm so glad that we're releasing the energy of that and instilling with you that feeling of freedom. Okay, so we've got RS Fitness and Marie Claire are next. So RS Fitness wants to work on releasing negativity. So let's see. So we're going to just focus. So I did think about releasing it a little differently, but I think we're just going to focus on the one trapped emotion. Sometimes I like to see if there's a group of negative emotions, but I think this is the best way for you this time, RS Fitness. So let me get an age. So 77 just wrote that they will have to look back at that time when they were 16. So like 15, 16, 17. Remote. Remote was the negative emotion, but I'm thinking it's like sort of being like separated. All right. Sorry. So easy to get distracted with all these cool things going on. All right. So RS Fitness, I just need to get an age. Then I need to get a positive. Oh, 77X just confirmed. Parents not around. And so that would explain sort of being alone. Ooh, rose petal. Thank you for that feedback. Big release for Russ. Yeah, he's been holding on to that a long time. Okay, so RS Fitness. Superficial is the trapped emotion. And I'm getting around age 29, so 28, 29, 30. So I don't know if you had someone in your life that was really superficial and fake. So, and I'm thinking their name should pop right into your head on who that is. So let's release that energy. And then I really like this one that came up for you. So we're going to replace that superficial, fake, trapped emotion, and we're going to replace it with loved. I really like that. That's so cool. All right, so releasing superficial. Oh, good. Let's get rid of that energy, RS. And we're going to just fill it with how loved you are, because that's just how it is. Nice. Okay, so Marie Claire is our last one. And then we're going to do aura strengthening. So let's see what comes up for Marie Claire. She's had fatigue the last couple years. Oh, Colette, I did. I don't have you on my list. I'm glad you mentioned it. What am I working on for you, Colette? I warned you that sometimes happens, so I'm sorry about that. So yeah, because I don't have you on my list. Oh, and Lisa wrote, let's see. Lisa wrote, healing pulses seem to affect me. Since that last one, pain settled a lot. Fabulous, Lisa. Love that has helped you. Now, keep in mind, stress plays a big role in healing pulse effectiveness because the energy goes to whatever it is going on. So, like with your neck, that's where it went to, the pain and discomfort. But if there was energy left over, it will go to the root cause. But oftentimes there's not enough energy. And so it might come back if it didn't entirely heal that root cause. And stress is a trigger that can make things come back sooner. So just be aware. All right, so I'm going to go back and look for Colette. In the meantime, I've also got Marie Claire, and we're almost through. All right, so with Marie Claire, I've got the energy of worried around age 12. And then we're going to take away that energy of worry. We're going to fill it up with kind. Not only kind from people around you, but kind because you're kind to yourself. So releasing worried and just filling it with kind. Okay. So I'm looking for Colette. Oh, so Colette, you initially wrote about the energy making you so tired you don't get much done in a day. And I think I wasn't sure if that was what you wanted to work on, but we can. And then, oh yeah, because I remember talking about this. You said sure could use shots of revitalizing energy. And then I think I had talked about using the healing pulse for the energies. So I'm looking to see if you had clarified that. Okay, and then you repeated that same thing. So I think I'm gonna put down the tiredness for Colette. Sorry about that, Colette. All right, so let's see what comes up for Colette. Okay, Colette. So got a trapped emotion of muddled. You know, when I think of muddled, I think of confused and just things are just sort of mixed up. But let's see. Muddled means confused or disordered, often referring to a state of mental confusion or a situation that is mixed up. Okay, so that's sort of what I thought. But Colette, this is from around age 7. So 6, 7, 8. So I don't know. So I'm going to just check in and see. See if muddled is you or if it was from someone close to you. Because as I've said, we've had a few really young ages, and oftentimes it's not always your kid energy. So I'm just going to check in and see, is this yours? No. So I don't know if there was someone around you that was just sort of confused and mixed up, and it was someone that you were pretty close to. So let's release that energy. And then we're going to fill it with just this feeling of wonderful and everything being okay. All right, so releasing and removing muddled. Thank you for confirming that, Colette. So releasing the energy of muddled. And we're going to fill you up with just everything is wonderful. Okay, so that that was my last. Let me just see. Oh, Lisa just worked. So Lisa just posted, because Lisa had Joyless at 16. And then we instilled childhood involved moving a lot, had to move a week before my 15th birthday, leave my beloved older sister behind, who is married, my fill-in mom slash guide, teen turmoil followed by guy abuse. Well, that would sure fit. I hope releasing that helped you, Lisa. So thank you for posting. Thank everyone for posting. And then Colette's just confirming a lot going on with the, yes, there is a lot going on with the planets right now. Is it the third that there is that 6 planets that are aligning? So that should be cool. So let's do the aura strengthening, because I think crazy times. I think we can all use this. So with this, the importance of aura strengthening, and it helps protect us and it helps repel negativity. And that's the most important part right there, is the negativity. Because there are so many people spewing hatred, especially to people that have different beliefs. And that's the sad part. A lot of us can't really talk about our beliefs because people are so judgmental. And so that spewing of hatred is just awful. And so what I want you to do is I want you to use your own energies. Although if you don't feel comfortable, you can use the healing pulse energies. But I want you to rub your hands together, get that energy flowing. Oh, and Miriam posted the planet parade. That's a cool way to call that. And then I want you to start beaming energy out to your aura. However far out that, I know some people, your aura is probably bigger than your house. And so just imagine that as you're beaming out, your aura gets stronger, more reflective. And I also like putting a hint of that reflectivity in, although you don't want to make it a full mirror, because you want people to be able to see you, especially when you're driving and walking. You don't want people to run into you. But you want, if they are spewing love at you, it's sort of nice that they get a little love back. But if they're spewing negativity, it's even more important that it gets reflected back on them. So I want you to just beam out all those things to strengthen your aura. But I will also want you to think about the space in your aura. Are you needing help with something today? Or tomorrow when you go to work, is there something that you need to be stronger? So imagine filling up the inside with something that can help you even more. Are you sad today? Do you need joy? Do you need courage? Do you need strength? Do you need unconditional love? Imagine that filling up that bubble around you. And so this is a sort of a double, it's a twofer. You get the protection, but you also can strengthen yourself. And just allow that. Okay. Well, tonight we went like way long, but I think part of it's the way I'm doing the trapped emotions with the positive. It takes longer, and I've got more of you showing up, which I guess is good, right? So, so if anyone has any questions about a regular session are a little different than this. although I do trapped emotions in a regular session, I also have up to 30 different tools that I use that might help you. Things like 1,000 positive and negative beliefs. I have this kinesiology list. I've got all these other lists. I do entity removal. It all sort of depends on what's important to you, but there's a lot of different things that come up. And then if energy work doesn't come up during the session, then we also always end with at least 10 minutes of energy work, which includes Reiki and Shambhala and my own personal healing frequencies. But if you have any questions, just sign up for a free session or a free consultation. And we do that on Zoom. But yeah. And so we're going to do another free mini healing on March 12th. And I think that'll be like at 7 p.m. Central Time. And by then, hopefully, I'll figure out for my Facebook followers, some of which I think hit me on YouTube. And the 77 says, hit the like. Everybody's so wonderful. Wonderful. Oh, and Colette says she had rheumatic fever around 7. Was that? Let's see. Muddled. Oh, that would have been it, Colette. No wonder you were muddled. You were sick. High fever. Yeah. I'm curious if that helps you. I'm hoping it does, Colette. I'm hoping all of you get helped. So, but thank you for coming. And I hope to see you guys on the 12th. If not, then I am always here on the 1st at 7 p.m. Central. And if any of you are interested in taking an online Reiki class, let me know. I'm just starting to think about dates for that. But I hope everyone has a good March, and I'll see you guys in a couple weeks. Have a good evening. Bye.